Talk about it. It's very important. It's your duty to continue to debate this issue. Why there is no unity among the Muslims? Why there is unity among the European, who have different languages, different culture, different tradition, even different religion, and they're united. Why? Why not we? We have more things in common as a Muslim nation than they have, than any other nation in this world. The structure is there for us, it's ready. We just need to build upon. But they built from scratch. We have to think about this. If we have this unity, automatically you don't have a Palestinian issue, you don't have a Palestinian problem, you don't have Palestinian dying every day. I'm sure when you see what's happening in Palestine, it pains you, it pains your heart, your family, your neighbors, you feel that you're less human than others. Palestinian state means 22% of the Palestine, the historical Palestine. Is that fair? No. In 1947, when the United Nations decided the partition of Palestine, 2 states, 1 Jewish state and 1 Arab state, they gave the Jews 55%, and they gave the Arab 45% of the land. Israel in 1948 occupied 78% of the country and established Israel on 78% and left 22%, in which Israel again occupied in 1967, 19 years later. And yet, for the sake of peace, Palestinians said, fine, we'll accept 22%, which is 6,000 square kilometer West Bank, including Jerusalem, East Jerusalem, and 363 kilometer, which is a little bit bigger than that now. This is Gaza Strip, a little bit wider, maybe 60 kilometer bigger than that. This is Gaza. Except for how many people? For 15 million Palestinian people. And yet, the other 78% goes to the 5.6 million Jews. See how the equation is, see how this fairness, because they are powerful and we are weaker. Yet, from the 22%, now they control 42% of the West Bank. Settlements and so on, military based. So what's left for Palestine? 12%. Is it, can we build a state at 12% of our country? Personally, I don't think so. That's why I said it before. I'll say it again and again and again, and I will keep saying it. I believe because Israel are not willing to give the 22% to the Palestinians, so the only other solution is one-state solution. One-state solution. Palestine, historical Palestine is 27,000 square kilometers. We have rivers, we have the Mediterranean Sea, we have the Dead Sea, we have good land. We can live all together. Isn't it the Western ideology, culture, talk about equality among nations, equality among religion, color, whatever, human rights and so on, okay, fine. We want to put that into effect, into action. Let us live. You, Jewish, we, the Muslim and the Christian, together in this land as an equal citizen in democratic rule. Majority runs minorities. Would you accept that? This is a question. I think if you ask this question to any of the Western world, they don't have answers. Or you can hear this thing, oh no, but they don't have answers because they want. This is what you're saying. People doesn't decide you were born Bangladeshi, you was born Palestinian, you was born this, that. We're born and we find ourselves. So we are equal. So why don't we live as equal citizens? One land. You said you were here? Okay, fine. You are most welcome. We were also here. So we live together. We build together. Instead of paying tens of billions of dollars for securities and for military, we'll be spending those billions of dollars on infrastructure. We'll provide our people, our citizens, with prosperities. Why not? This is the question I put. Maybe this is not what, I mean, it was not admitted or by our government. But I believe if this was proposed to our government, I don't think anyone will reject it. None. Now finally I wanted to express my appreciation for the people of Bangladesh. Not because I am the Palestinian ambassador in Bangladesh, but because what I have seen. I served in 11 countries before. And Bangladesh, I think it will be the last or the one before the last before I retired. I have never felt home in my life like I felt in Bangladesh, because I had never been home actually. I lived all my life as a refugee, but I really felt I'm not a refugee in Bangladesh. I live between my brothers and sisters, my family, my home, and I'm really proud of that. And this is one of the reasons that I've been 9 years in your country. The support that we have received from the people of Bangladesh, the poor and the rich, all sorts of people in Bangladesh is tremendous, is amazing. It's something that we will record in our history. It will always be there. I go back a little bit to the ICJ. The ICJ is extremely important. The provision, the 6 provisions, is very, very important, and we should build on that. Yesterday, I think you read the papers and you've seen the news, 30 bodies were found in Palestine, in Gaza Strip, under rubble, with their, they folded their eyes and they tied their hand and they put them in bag. They died. They were taken hostages by the Israeli army, and that's the result. This all will go to the ICJ as a proof of that Israel did commit a genocide. But everybody knows that Israel did that. But because the ICJ is worried about the veto in the Security Council, they did not directly say it. Because they said it related to the Russian issue, Russian-Ukraine. And the Russians did not commit even 5% of what Israel did. So this is the most unfortunate. I'm going to leave it here, so I will give a chance for any question which comes in your head without any hesitation. Please go ahead. Thank you very much, and I appreciate all of you being here and showing interest in the cause of Palestine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency, for giving the details. আচ্ছা আপনারা যারা এসেছেন এখানে অনেকে দেখতে বাইরে আপনারা একটু একটা পাশেই করেন আমাদের এটা যারা আছেন এটা বিকেলে আপনারা শব্দ করবেন না। So now we are turning to the question and answer session. So I would like to invite our colleagues first. First, Sheikh H.E.Mr. from Bangladesh.
Thank you. Excellency, welcome to our program. I'm listening to what your statement, and that's really very fascinating. The one thing I got my attention, what you said, the myth, the might of the Israeli army and their security equipment. What you, if I understand you correctly, you tried to say that Israeli army, there was a belief that Israeli army cannot be defeated, but which is the case. And the second one is many countries buy Israeli equipment for their to strengthen their security, but that gave a big blow because that gave a big blow because they cannot provide their own security. How come they provide security to other countries? What's the impact as far as procuring those equipment is concerned, and also the belief of the Arab community and also the whole world that Israeli army is not the mightiest one? Thank you.
So, we all know about the incident of the 7th October. One thing is in my mind that why did the Hamas think about the repercussion of this event, what is happening now on the general people of Gaza, and what was their plan B to save these general people? Is there any plan at all when they attack Israel? And the other thing is, how optimistic are you to for the implementation of the ICJ ruling, the interim ruling?
First, I will go for the question to Libya. As I said before, we were taught since we are children, little children, through the media, because till the almost 2000, we didn't have an independent press really. It was all state, owned by states, most of the Arab countries. So whatever they want, they teach us, they inject into us. And one of it that Israel, this mighty power, cannot be defeated. This has made the soldier, the Arab soldier, before he goes into the battlefield, he knows the result, that he's going to be defeated. And that's what happened in 1967. Israel was able to capture from Jordan, West Bank, Gaza Strip from Egypt, Sinai Desert also, part of Lebanon and Golan Heights. In 6 days. When you go to a battlefield, to any battlefield, and you already know in your heart, deeply in your heart, that you're going to be defeated, so you'll be fighting not to defeat your enemy, but to save your skin. And that's what exactly happened. But what happened on the 7th of October proved the opposite. In fact, this also happened in 2006, if you all remember the war in South Lebanon. Also that the Lebanese were able to liberate their country from the Israeli by using force, not negotiation. In negotiation, if you don't have power behind you, when you sit and negotiate, you cannot get what you want. You need to have power. Without it, you cannot. For the equipment, just mentioning the equipment, this idea, I think, is not only inflicted on us, it's also inflicted on the rest of the world. That Israel is the best in everything related to security and related to military. Is the best, is the top. I'm not saying this equipment are bad. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that you can defeat this equipment. And that's what happened on the settlement. For my brother's question related to Hamas, please, you should understand all of you. I don't represent Hamas, I don't represent Fatah. This is important. I represent the PLO. PLO is the sole legitimate representative of the Palestinian people. So I do not represent any party in Palestine. This is not my job to do that. So I don't speak on their behalf. I speak on behalf of the Palestinian people, the PLO. How they plan, the contingency plan, plan B, I don't know that. I don't know. I have no idea, because I will be not frank with you if I claim that I know. I can assess. Maybe Hamas, the way they plan, and they plan well, actually, from the military point of view, they plan well. But did they take under consideration that it's going to be so much devastating? I don't know. I have no idea if they do. But what I believe in, as I can see today, that from the military point of view and security point of view, for themselves, they were well prepared. And to prove that, today, the same army who won 4 Arab countries in 6 days are not able to do anything in what? 4 months? That means the other side, the tiny part, you can imagine what does it mean, 260 kilometers? It's such a tiny place. And you control the air, you control the sea, and you control the land. And you have the most advanced weapon and technology and intelligence. And you have the support of UK, France, you have the support of the Pentagon, you have the support of the State Department, they have supported all the powerful people. I mean it, all kinds of support. And yet, you're not able to achieve your goal. Neither to release your hostages, nor to destroy Hamas, or destroy the resistance. So that means they planned well. The issue here of the casualties, it's not Hamas who killed those people, it's Israel who's killing those people. What was your second?
ICJ ruling.
ICJ ruling,
Optimistic.
yes, we are. I am optimistic because there's two sides of this one. We expected the ICJ to order Israel immediately for ceasefire. We did expect that. As a Palestinian, because we are the people who pay the blood. That's our children, our mothers, our cousins, and so on. So we expected the least they can do is order Israel to stop ceasefire. They didn't. Then we as a politician try to understand why they didn't. They couldn't. Not they didn't because they don't want, because they couldn't. Because Israel spent from 75 years enjoy the impunity. And suddenly you expect them to accept the ruling of the ICJ. There's no way. There's no chance. So for self-respect of the ICJ, what they did according to the 6th provision they provided, it's perfect, I think. And we can build on that. I think you have read it. You must have read all the 6 points. Israel was asked from the point. Israel must always protect the evidence which lead to genocide. That means when I ask you to protect the evidence, that means there is evidence. That means there is a genocide. So in all the 4 articles, the court said that Israel did commit the genocide, but said it indirectly, not directly. And there will be a ruling. You see, in the world, everything runs by politics, including the ICJ. Politics play important role in it. If the ICG was convinced that the US will not veto its ruling, they would have ruled that. But they knew the result. They don't want to put the American administration in this position to force the America to use veto. So they came up with this. It was very well calculated. And for us as a Palestinian, as an Arab, as a Muslim, I think we should be grateful to South Africa and Bangladesh, and we should be grateful to all the 15 or 14 judges of the ICJ. They sent a clear message to Israel. That's why Israel rejected. Although Israel was not condemned directly, but still Benjamin Netanyahu condemned the ICJ. Because this is the first time you wake up in the morning and you see, I am just like any other country. If I commit a crime, I have to face the consequences. I never had this opportunity. I mean, I did not thought that I will ever come to this, that I will be condemned, I will be punished, and so on, like any other nation. So this is to remove Israel from this policy, impunity, to be eligible for punishment. This is a great success. And this also shows that the Western world slowly, not trying to abandon Israel. They won't do that so soon. But it is the first step on the way. 14 judges saying no to Israel, that means this is kind of almost abandoning Israel from this point of view. Excellent, how are you?
Excellency, my question is about, it's a story of 7 years. And we are seeing you in Dhaka for last 19 years. So can you please tell your story, how you and your family suffered?
Muktaba from Washington.
Thank you, Excellency. It's Mukta, work for Washington Television. We know the history of Gaza, we know the history of Palestine. It's a long history. Now we are seeing what is happening in Palestine. So how you are optimistic about the independence of Palestine? Thank you.
Well, I wasn't born in 1948. I'm not so old. So I am from a city. My father is a city called Akka, and his father was the mayor of the city. And those times, mayor, they owned most of the land. This was the system. So he was rich. And then in 1941, my father joined the revolution to fight for the British and the Zionists. But since they did not have, just like today, actually what you see today happened exactly the same as it happened in 1940. The rest of the world were watching. But today we have social media. They can show you the massacres, they can show you the crime live. That time you will hear about it after it happened 1 or 2 months. Then it's gone, finished, disappeared. As my mother and my father told us the story that they left, the nearest city was Lebanon. The nearest country was Lebanon. It's about 40 kilometers from our territory. So they had to immigrate, they had to flee because the Zionist Haganah, they entered the city and they tried to kill man, only man. and take some children away. So in order to make the people flee, and they did. They succeed, and the people were moving. My father was still in the mountains and so on, and then my mother had to leave. She was pregnant with my sister at that time, and she had 3 daughters and 1 son at that time. They were 4, and she's pregnant on the 5th one. She has to bring them all and walk for 40 kilometers to Lebanon, and there they collected all the Palestinians, like they did in South Gaza now with tents and so on. And then 2 weeks later or 1 week later, they told my mother that your husband died. He was killed in the war. So my mother cried and whatever. And then one night she woke up early morning to do the Fajr prayer, and my father was in front of her standing. So she fainted because she thought she's. Then they woke her up, and then she said, "It's me, I'm your husband." And she said, "I thought you were dead." Anyway, he told her the story how it happened. It's really unbelievable story. I feel shy to tell you the stories because my father said we liberated most of the villages, and we used to deliver this village to the Arab army who came to save us. And then we go to the next village, and the next village, and the next. We don't want them to fight, we don't want them to die. We fight, we die, but we want them to control it. And then when they came back to the first village, they found out that those people, the Arabs, they delivered those villages back to the Jewish. That's exactly what happened in 1948, maybe the first time I'm saying. I also take responsibility for it, but this is what my father told me. And my mother later on told me the same thing. So it was a big betrayal in 1948. That's the truth. The rest of the stories is not really important. We were kids, and we started when we were like 12, 13. After school, we used to go and learn how to shoot, use a gun, and so on and so on. Most of us did that. Some of us joined the military forces. Some of us went to different directions. I was in both military and this. Then I joined the foreign service, and I served in different countries. And this is Bangladesh. I served in many Muslim, Arabs, other countries. I served in China, in Afghanistan. I served in Sudan. I served in Lebanon. I served in Zimbabwe. I served in Yemen. I served in UAE, Korea, and Bangladesh. But really what I said about Bangladesh, it is really from the heart. If you open my heart and you check, you'll find it's there. That you people are amazing people. And I really doesn't want to leave this country. Unless if I go straight back to Palestine. I really feel at home, and I feel safe, very safe. I never felt home. Because if you don't have a state, you don't have a country, you don't have a passport, you don't know how it feels. You won't know. I mean, having a homeland, I think it's the most important thing in life. And I'm the only one who knows it because I don't have it. You won't know that. But your father might know it before 1971. Not you. And believe me, it is the most painful thing. Very painful. We smile and we laugh and we're optimistic and so on, so on, so on. But deep in our heart, we're very sad. We are very, very sad. Imagine I can never go to my country. And I am the ambassador of that country. All these weird things, it's happening in front of you. I cannot go to Palestine. I'm not allowed to go to Palestine. Because Israel controls Palestine. I wanted to clear one thing. I heard it several times in Bangladesh, and since I take this opportunity for our brothers with the press, I heard twice in this country something really irritating. That in 1971, Palestine or PLO did not recognize Bangladesh, and they were against Bangladesh. For those people who have a very poor knowledge, PLO were recognized in 1974. This is for the people to know. We were recognized as a representative of the Palestinian people in 1974. So if we don't have a body or an entity, how can we recognize your entity? We don't have it. So the first thing we did in 1974 was to recognize Bangladesh. And before that, in 1973, I think 1973 or 74, I don't remember correctly. If I'm wrong, there was a OIC conference in Lahore. I think 74.
In 70.
February 74, absolutely. Something happened there. Pakistan then did not recognize Bangladesh, and Pakistan did not invite Bangladesh on that conference. And Yasser Arafat, before even the recognition of the PLO as the sole legitimate representative of the Palestinian people, he asked at the airport in Lahore about Sheikh Mujib al-Rahman, deliberately. And they said, sorry sir, he's not invited because we don't recognize Bangladesh. And then he sent a clear message to the Prime Minister of Pakistan that if Sheikh Mujib al-Rahman does not attend the conference, I will withdraw and leave. It is very clear. It should be for the record understood. And he insists. And 6 hours later, there was a consultation between Yasser Arafat, Hawari Boumediene of Algeria, and the late Prince or Amir of Qatar, Sheikh Sabah al-Ahmad al-Salim al-Sabah, who was the foreign minister then. Those three leaders met and consulted, and they all supported the idea of Yasser Arafat, and they insist that Sheikh Mujib should be or must be invited. And then a declaration was made that Pakistan recognized Bangladesh and sent invitation, and the plane of Hawari Boumediene came here to Bangladesh to take Bangabandhu and to attend the conference and to have a meeting with all the leaders. And there's a big photos, I think you all have seen, with President Arafat, with Bangabandhu, with Bhutto, and all other leaders at that time. Yasser Arafat was never against this country or the freedom of this country. And H.E.Mr. al-Husseini, the people who claim that he was against, it was not correct. H.E.Mr. al-Husseini, the last 5 years of his life, he was suffering from a very terrible disease. So he was not, first of all, he had no position, not in the PLO, not in anywhere to speak. He had no right to speak.